Welcome in, race fans, to round 13 of the IndyCar Legends Racing Series season. Just about the halfway point here. Barcelona Grand Prix, 70 laps through one of Europe's most iconic circuits. Sun is hot here today. Track temp already exceeding 115 degrees. So you know tire temperatures will be watched very carefully by the crew chiefs, and those tire strategies could be a very deciding factor in who wins here today. Out front we have Greg Moore sitting atop the championship standings with a commanding lead. 3 wins this year, all on ovals though, so here at the road course, it could be a bit of a challenge for the 99. He has finished well, but has not put together a win yet. Road course trophy cabinet still has some room to be filled in. Behind him, Colton Herta and Sebastian Bourdais sit second and third in points. And then we have the first 2 winners of this European swing, the European Championship. Scott McLaughlin and Scott Dixon, they're both in the hunt as well. Can't forget last year's winner here at the Barcelona Grand Prix. That was Will Power. We saw Pato O'Ward start on pole and also crowned our first ever European Championship, which went to Alexander Rossi. Let's get ready for one of the biggest chapters of this championship so far. Going to be a big story written here today. See if we can pop over with quickest overall. Look at that. It's Colton Herta. He's quicker than Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais currently in the pits getting some adjustments, but Colton Herta moved to the top of the charts. So second and third in points, looking really quick right now. See if it'll transfer over into qualifying, which is in just about 7 minutes time. Be 4 laps, so see how the drivers decide to use those 4 laps. Some may use 1 pit and then get 1 more with a fresh set of tires. Others may try just all 3 laps or even all 4 laps. But you do have to start the race on the tire you qualify on, so it does make a big difference. And no rain expected here today. Colton Herta riding in the draft right now. Down this long straightaway, Jacques Villeneuve up ahead. Villeneuve not having the year he was hoping for. We said for quite a few drivers, honestly. Colton Herta, though, looking for his first win. So maybe get that here today in Spain. Looking quick right now. Let's go on board with the 26 to get an idea what it's like around this track. Herta on the 4th lap right now of this set of tires. And both Villeneuve and Herta coming down pit lane. You get a look at pit entry. Bit tight there, tricky to get down and without collecting that wall. I think I saw Bourdais back out. Let's check in with him. Right with Tony Stewart. It's got Paul Tracy and last year's pole sitter, Pato O'Ward, just up ahead. Bourdais now back to third quick as Ryan Hunter-Reay with an incredible lap. Nearly a second quicker than Colton Herta. Wow. There's Greg Moore coming out of pit lane. He's currently 8th fast. He is your current points leader by nearly 120 points. It's in our description here. I believe it's 119 over Colton Herta. Just an incredible season. The winner at the Indianapolis Grand Prix, our first of 4 double points races, or first of 3, sorry, double points races. Really a triple crown. And now Ari Leindyke going quick. So the track actually picking up speed, it seems. And the closing moments of practice. Bourdais pulling up on a big group of cars. I want to see how he handles that once he gets up to him, but may run out of time, and a lot of decisions being made right now as to what tires are you going to try to start this race on. Check with there's Hunter-Reay. Currently a little trap behind Lazier, who is 7th quickest, but still holding him up. Time by a 1:32, so 5 seconds off his best lap. Only on lap 4 of the road. No almost side-by-side contact with Lazier. Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on maybe during the race. Don't remember that from last time we were here, but that looked... Oh, and there's contact again. So... this guy's driving pretty hard for practice, and 2 laps remain before qualifying. Don't have much time to repair any damage. Hunter-Reay way out in the marbles there, has to fall back behind Buddy Lazier reluctantly. Leindyke, 2nd quick, still 7/10 slower than this guy right here, 28 of Hunter-Reay. And you got Sebastian Bourdais. Scott Dixon, last week's winner, back in 30th at the moment. He won pole, he led the most laps, and had the fastest lap. So surely like to see him turn that around in qualifying with 1 minute remaining. And we'll have a standing start. Again, you have to start on the tires you qualify on, so we'll see probably maybe about a 1/3 and 2/3 split on option and hard tires. Seems like the option tire definitely the better of the two. Advance the session.
Checkered flag for practice.
Otherwise they make us wait for everyone to finish that lap. So currently leading the European Championship with 1 race to go here at Barcelona is Scott Dixon, last week's winner. Scott McLaughlin is third, who won the first race at Red Bull Ring. Castroneves slots himself into second without a win yet. He is 7 points back of Scott Dixon, so bit of a buffer for the 9 team, and even more so back to McLaughlin, 17 points. So looking good for the 9 car. We got 3 Ganassi. Sorry. Okay, Scott Dixon, Elio Castroneves, Scott McLaughlin, Dario Franchitti, and Colton Herta. That's your top 5. 21 points separating those drivers. But we have it all the way back to, I'd say, the top 30 has a legitimate shot at still winning this mid-season championship. Rossi sits 7th as last year's winner. 23 points out. Track temp continues to rise, 127 degrees now, as Hunter Ray takes the green flag on his qualifying run. We'll stick with him being quickest in practice, and anybody who goes quicker will jump over to them on the next lap. On the hard compound though, so will not be one of the quicker times. Thing now, it's the support to see how drivers like Scott Dixon and Greg Moore, Scott McLaughlin, and you got Colton Herta, Sebastian Bourdais, see how those guys end up qualifying, as they are going to be the ones battling at the front. Hunter Ray will be on a strategy race. First lap, here he is. 129.3, good lap on those tires. 25th at the moment. Not the quickest on the hard compound, but not nearly the slowest either. So, quickest overall is Mr. Mario Andretti. A 127.688. Up on Al Jr. and Alex Pillow, who have a identical lap time of 127.742. And then last week's winner, as we mentioned before, Scott Dixon, sits in 4th. Pato O'Ward, last year's pole sitter on the hard compound, so we'll be starting towards the back. Same could be said for Alexander Rossi, Montoya, Paul Tracy, even Colton Herta. See how it works out for him. So here comes Mario Andretti around the final few corners on the historic layout. No chicane here. Keeping up the speed through those final 2 turns. Across the line, Mario does not improve. Greg Moore, seeing him in 7th, and then McLaughlin in 8th, Bourdais 9th. And if you take a look where the lap times start to drop off, looks like it's split right down the middle. 20 cars on soft tires, 20 on hard. Will Power, surprisingly, in 20th on the soft compounds. And at this rate, I don't believe anybody will go quicker. So I'm gonna take a look. Robbie Gordon here. He's still out on his lap. I don't think anyone even came in, which is surprising. And nobody tried to do one lap. And that should be it. Sure, everybody gets across the line here. All right. And that should do it. A 1:30.4 for Rick Mears, well off his best lap time. So going to flag the session and we will move on to the race. Standing start, 70 laps here at Barcelona. Mario Andretti, Alan Sir Jr., that's your front row. Alex Palou, Scott Dixon, teammates on row 2. Bobby Rahal, AJ Foyt, Greg Moore, Scott McLaughlin, Sebastian Bourdais, and Michael Andretti, the top 10. Go a little further back, and that's where it starts to get interesting because some cars decided to go on hard compounds from 21st on back. Let's go ahead and we'll do a quick run through the field for you. See where your favorite driver's starting, and then will be a quick jump into the lights going out and cars diving down into turn 1. There's your front row. One more time. Mario Andretti, Alan Sir Jr., then Ganassi taking up row 2. Legends on row 3 with Rahal and AJ Foyt.
Gridding started. 4 minutes 10 seconds left.
You see Greg Moore and McLaughlin, huge threats here today, as well as Sebastian Bourdais. Another good starting position for Greg Ray. Hopefully he can capitalize and get a good finish. He just hasn't been able to get the results he's been deserving of. Gilles de Ferran up towards the front. Ari Leindijk was very quick in practice. See if he can move his way through the field. And you see still option tires here. Back to Lazier and Will Power. And Dan Weldon going to be quickest on the hard compound with Zanardi to his right. Emerson Fittipaldi and Rick Mears. Quickest in practice there, Ryan Hunter-Ray. So he got that speed to translate over in qualifying.
3 minutes left.
Excuse me. And a little further back, you see Alexander Rossi, last year's European champion. Looking to duplicate that here today. Going to need a good run, though. It's going to take quite a bit of maneuvering. Colton Herta, second in championship. Nigel Mansell, Juan Montoya been pretty good in these first 2 races. Paul Tracy up in the top 5 in points. And filling out the end of the field, Robbie Gordon and Tony Kanaan. So there you go. Field is all set. Go ahead and get to
This should be a fine stopper with earliest pit on lap 9. Grid time's up. Focus now.
Lights are out.
Green, 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 green.
Everybody jockeying for position down into turn 1. Nice start for Andretti. A little further back, he got the battle for second.
Canon has a slowdown.
So we have a penalty. Tony Kanaan had to go off track. A lot of cars diving into this horseshoe, and Robbie Gordon missing a front wing. Nigel Mansell completely sideways back there. Seems like everybody made it through, but Robbie Gordon probably going to have to pit with that damage. There's your leader, Mario Andretti. Track temp up to 133 degrees. My gosh. Kadon is now caught up to the back of Robbie Gordon. Great look of everyone coming down to turn 1. Ooh, almost contact with Dan Weldon and Fittipaldi. And Robbie Gordon did pit for repair.
Gordon goes to dry compound.
See Zanardi leading that hard compound strategy. Al Jr. not letting Mario get away. You got Dixon following Pelot, and then AJ Foyt in 5th. Unser looking pretty quick. He has just set the fastest lap at a 128.453. And just really looks quicker. But making the pass here is not easy. There are obviously places to do that down that long front stretch and get a good draft and use the push to pass. And also right here off of this corner down into that carousel complex. Like a tabletop, you go so flat, you go one direction and then back up the other. Uphill, and then right back down. This time by, what do we got? 130s for the leaders. So it looks like Al Jr.'s quickest lap will stand for now, at least until the next round of stops. Let's take a look at the field again as they come by here through the first set of corners. Dale Jr. has not been able to keep up the pressure he was showing just a moment ago. So, Robbie Gordon back on track, damage repaired, 23 seconds back of Tony Kanaan. Let's take one more look at the start here. Just flying down into turn one. The contact back there. Didn't see Kanaan really do anything too crazy. Sent Sato out, who clipped. Yeah, I'm not sure, really. There's your points leader, Greg Moore in 6th. Keeping his eye on the top 5. Gap's starting to open up a bit. A little further back, you got Ray Hall being pursued by Michael Andretti for 9th. And Franchitti watching on, looking to get to the top 10. Penske's side by side into turn 1. That's Castroneves and DeFerrin. And then you got 2 more Penske's behind, working on Jacques Villeneuve with Will Power and Joseph Newgarden. Oh, mid-pack here. Jacques Villeneuve in front of Joseph Newgarden. And here's the first car on the hard compounds. That's Alex Zanardi. He's got a 1.5 second lead on Rick Mears while maintaining touch with the better, softer tire. Buddy Lazier, he's falling back. Only car to fall out of that top group on the softer tires. And you got Emerson Fittipaldi, bit of a train behind that 20 car. Not able to keep up with Lazier. It's back about 24th place. Head back up to the front. Oh, got a few cars pitting at the back. I think one of those is Colton Herta, Nigel Mansell. Big moment for a few of those drivers. Let's see how it pays off. Robert Wickens and Sato, they're out. And in fact, Robbie Gordon's closing that gap between himself and the tail end of the field. Despite the damage, this could end up working out for him. It's ironic sometimes how that plays out. Let's go on board with The Iceman, Scott Dixon. Get you another lap around this track. So here you see would be the old chicane. A lot more fun to go faster on these final two corners, in my opinion. Not much passing happened in that chicane either. Actually, I think when we used it, we had issues with cars flipping over. So, good solution. Win-win. You're on lap 8. See Dixon behind his teammate. Not losing touch with the lead. Being patient, but you see the gaps growing. Tough uphill right-hander. Hard to get perfect. It's easy to get it okay, but consistent is a whole nother story. Great lap there though, with one of the best to ever do it. Run a little further back again. Find some other cars maybe closer in proximity. Got Will Power on his pseudo teammate Gilles de Ferran, and Joseph Newgarden still trying to get by Jacques Villeneuve. Looks like he might have a shot at it this time. On the outside, wow. Nicely done. So Will Power and Joseph Newgarden, they are moving up. So do take a quick look with the 26 car, Colton Herta. One of the first to stop. To Zanardi, it looks like he's going to be the first. We got Zanardi, Danny Sullivan, there's Tony Stewart, Colton Herta, Takuma Sato, Paul Tracy, and a huge battle going on here. Robbie Gordon, Wickeds, Kanan, Nigel Mansell. Wow. Yeah, Zanardi, he's now on his second lap on these soft tires. Let's see what he can do. .129.9. Great lap. Best of the session for Zanardi on the softer tires. Back up front, here's Mario. 131.6. Apollo and Dixon. Everyone kind of similar pace at the moment. Pit stops may shake things up, and if some drivers decide to go to the hard compound early, not quite sure how long a pit cycle is. Should be about 15 laps, I would assume. About 4 or 5 laps away from potential first stops. And it seems like maybe Robbie Gordon is down pit lane again. Not sure if he had more damage. Seems a bit early. Mario Andretti looking for his first win on the season. Surprising already to this point in the year. Nearly half. This would be technically the halfway point. 27 race season. The end of race 13. Call this and the next race halfway. But one of the all-time leaders in wins, laps led, top 5s, top 10s, you name it. See if he can get his season back on track and start a run of his own back towards the top of the championship standings. But Craig Moore not making it easy for anyone to catch up to him when he's running consistently, like in the top 10. No matter, may not be the fastest, but he's still just silently riding along and not making mistakes. Looks like Scott Dixon might be getting a little closer to his teammate. Tires starting to wear out a bit. Gap's starting to increase even more on this lap. You can really see it. Back to Bourdais and trying to see who's even behind Bourdais. Yeah, Bobby Rahal. Wow. Let's have a look here. Stay at this camera. Apologize for that. And really get an idea of the gaps through the field down this long straightaway. See, Power has gotten by DeFerrin. There's Alex Zanardi. Look at that gap he's created over Sullivan and Rick Mears. It's Tony Stewart. Rossi and Herta. So you can really see nearly, I'd say, like about a minute separating the field. 53 seconds I'm showing. And it's a 1:30 track. Won't be long before we have a lap traffic involved in this. So adds a whole nother variable. And granted, a lot of those cars did pit, so that is why they are that far back, but it will overlap at some point. See if we find any battles here in the top 10. It's all pretty silent, though. And we got Will Power looking to make another move, this time on Castro Neves. He's looking like one of the quickest cars out here. Let's see how far he can make it up, him and Newgarden. Very impressed with what they've accomplished in these first 14 laps. Here's Zanardi. 4 seconds back now of Buddy Lazier, who's yet to pit. And he's got a 5-second lead on Rick Mears, who has got around Danny Sullivan. He's going a second lap quicker than Zanardi, with about 3-lap fresher tires. Sullivan on pretty old tires, actually. Trying to hold off Dan Weldon and Tony Stewart now. There's Colton Herta second in points. Needing some help to turn this day around. They are not doing too well here. Andretti camp running back in 27th. His former teammate Alexander Rossi right behind him. And it seems as though Mario Andretti is down pit lane with Alan Sir Jr. Pulling away cleanly. Let's get to Polo. Now Polo and Dixon inherit the lead. No traffic for Mario. Al Jr. clear of Lazier. And there's Zanardi. Now, do these cars cover or try to stay out another couple laps? Interested if anybody stays out. Apologize, making anybody dizzy here. Literally everyone down pit lane. And here comes Mario. Al Jr. down the front stretch. No competition there. Alex Palou out. There's AJ Foyt. Looks like Scott Dixon had a pretty rough stop, but not seeing Dixon. Wow, really rough stop for the 9. Back to 10th. Last week's winner really just cost himself maybe a potential top 5. And here's Zanardi now in the top 5. Already using the hard compound. Mario Andretti leads by 2.5 seconds over Al Unser Jr. You got Alex Palou and AJ Foyt. Then Alex Zanardi. See Greg Moore still in 6th. It's a different car in front of him now. Yeah, this is your whole field. Everyone except Robbie Gordon, I'll say. He's a little further back. Having taken one extra stop for damage. Oh, look at this. Looks like I got a bit of a battle. Zanardi trying to hold off Greg Moore on significantly older tires. It's not going to work, I think. Greg Moore will find a way by here in a second. But Zanardi being very defensive on those lines, using up all the track. And 3 seconds now the gap in front, so losing time to AJ Foyt. Scott McLaughlin, he's looking for a way to maybe get by. But Greg Moore just out braking Zanardi. On the outside, gets it done. Now McLaughlin sets his sights on the 01. All things considered, I think Zanardi is very happy with how this strategy is playing out at the moment. Two and a half second lead up front for Mario. And another 3 seconds back to Palou. So not missing anything up front. Any changes will jump right to that. McLaughlin now looking for a way by Zanardi. See if Bourdais can make a move, and Scott Dixon closing up as well. Bourdais just running his quickest lap of the race. And this seems to be the passing spot right now. Outside to this long left-hander. It's working lap after lap. Can Bourdais send it up the inside? No, not close enough. It's going to give Dixon an opportunity maybe down this front straightaway. Here's someone's chassis bottoming out, I think, through the final corner. Oh, Dixon, yep, he's going. Can he get to the outside? Not quite. Dixon being very aggressive, though, after his pit stop miscue. He got held up. Cost him about 5 positions. Track temp remains about 130 degrees out there. Very warm. And Bourdais just did not get the run that he needed down that straightaway to get alongside. Let's see if he'll have a chance down this front straightaway. Good exit though for Zanardi. Zanardi should be pitting in the next 2 or 3 laps. But in the meantime, making things difficult for much of the top 10. Really helping spread out the field too. So Bourdais might have a good shot down here. Nice run. Not close enough though. Ooh. Car jumped out from under him, it looked like. Allowing Zanardi to get a bit of a gap now. As he's low on fuel, the car will pick up speed in the last 2 laps. It's typical to see. It's a strange feeling as the driver is suddenly wondering where the speed came from, but welcome side effect of running out of gas. There you go, Bourdais. He's gonna be real close here. Great run through turn 2 and clear by turn 3. At least Scott Dixon now next to try to pass this 0-1. Took a few laps for Bourdais. Rick Mears about 3 seconds back. Pelot's got just under a second lead on AJ Foyt for 3rd. So Foyt, he's picked up a bit of pace. Quickest of the top 5 is Greg Moore. But everyone running about a 131.0 to a 131.5. Not much variance there in the top 5. So 3 seconds separate first and second, and then another 3 seconds back to this guy, Alex Pelot, who has AJ Foyt just under a second behind him. Passing a premium here. Most of these cars are very similar in pace. Struggling to find a way to get by when you're driving against the best in the world. It's not gonna be easy. Robert Wickens has pit along with Nigel Mansell, so minute 11 back of the lead, which on a minute 31 track brings those lap cars as closer and closer into the picture. check, but I think Zanardi may have pit. Yep, down pit lane, there's the 01. Let's see if he sticks with the soft compound or goes to the hard tires. Stays with the soft. Tony Stewart also in. There's Mario. P1. Led every lap so far. 3-second lead over Al Unser Jr. Now, is this enough? To get him no, Mario actually, he's dead last in this year's European Championship. Unbelievable. He's finished last and third to last. So quite literally one of the few drivers that does not have a shot at this championship. But looking to end it on a high note and show that he's not just ready for next year with this Euro swing, but he's ready for the rest of the season and to possibly put a win on the board when this is all said and done here today. So we're on lap 25 of 70. This race is just really ticking by at a pretty quick pace. Ooh, Mario missed his line a bit. Is Al Jr. And probably the closest battle in the top 10. We'll take a quick look though. Yeah, looks like Bobby Rahal and Michael Andretti are pretty close though. Get a little scuffle here. Keep an eye. About 5 cars just really going at it here mid-pack. Different strategies going on. Rick Mears on some old tires. Dan Weldon as well. Could see Rick Mears pit here, so keep an eye out for a quick dive down to pit lane. Stays out one more. Same with Weldon. Zanardi came out in traffic. Is currently running with Kenny Brack, Hinchcliffe. Let's go find him. Ooh, pass just ahead. Stick with this as they are wheel to wheel. For that long right-hand sweeper. This is for 9th. And I believe Michael was the one trying to make the pass on Bobby Rahal. Had to fall back into line. Here's Zanardi. He's gotten around Kenny Brack. Got Danny Sullivan about 5 seconds back, and including Colton Herta. So this is kind of interesting. Ahead of Tony Stewart. Strategies are starting to take shape. That move by Zanardi did not quite make it stick with the fresher tires. Lazier cuts off the nose.
Got a black flag.
Oh, Dan Weldon with a black flag. Take a look. Not sure what the penalty was for. We took a look there.
Weldon has a black flag.
Dan Weldon getting penalized here. Not sure what exactly for. Trying to clear that up. Down one lap though, along with Robbie Gordon. Robert Wickens up ahead by another 13 seconds. Make sure Weldon doesn't have to hit pit lane again. Looks like everything's out okay with the 77. No more penalties, but we will try to get him waved around if we have a caution. At this rate, though, not looking likely with clean racing we've been seeing. There's AJ Foyt trying to hold off Robbie Gordon, who's on fresh tires. Greg Moore wanting to get by, but knows Robbie Gordon is quick at the moment. Greg Moore sitting fifth. Pretty good run here considering his 3 wins all coming on ovals. Not saying he hasn't been finishing good on road courses, because he has. But once he gets a win on the road course, it'll just be a non-subject. Should see pit stops maybe this lap. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There's our leader, Mario Andretti. He's been in control since lap 1. I think maybe some other cars led a lap during the pit transition, but I think Alex Palou actually, led a lap. Right now he is 8.5 seconds back. And it looks like Al Jr. is closing in ever so slightly on the one car. Keeping him honest here as we approach the halfway point of the race. There goes Mario. And Al. Now, does Palou stay out? He was longer on the last stint, and that is indeed what happens. Foyt, he stays out. So it seems Pato has enticed other drivers to join him on the longer strategy. Greg Moore cannot complete the pass on Robbie Gordon. Meanwhile, Foyt and Pato pull away. And McLaughlin actually closing up now. 3/10 quicker that lap than the 99. Just desperate to get by. Robbie Gordon losing a ton of time now. See some skid marks there through a sharp left-hander. Corner just cut like a knife. It's like Foyt's gotten to the rear bumper, rear wing, sorry, of Pato here. It's for the lead. Foyt staying out. All right. Mixing it up. AJ Foyt taking the long game. I don't know if he'll be able to make it on the amount of stops he's trying to do. Yeah, that'll be close, but there goes Greg Moore. He's finally got by Robbie Gordon. You got Bourdais and Dixon. Bobby Rahal rounding out the top 5. And much of the top 10 just out of frame. Let's see, come around that long right-hander. Here's AJ Foyt. Back up front again. Foyt also having a really tough time in this European swing. It has not gone his way, similar to the way we were speaking about Mario Andretti. Not as bad as Mario's. Can't really be much worse than how it's gone for Andretti, but AJ Foyt pretty close in comes to terms of bad luck. Down pit lane. I think this is going to be everybody. I see Dixon now coming in later, hoping he doesn't have anybody slow or impede his entrance to his box. Comes Mario, already off the final corner. See Al Jr. just behind. Comes Alex Pato, distant third now, 11 seconds off. McLaughlin up to 4th. Here's 5th and 6th. That's Foyt and Greg Moore. Zanardi up to 7th. And there's your top 10. Zanardi looking good. He's got himself integrated into the top 10 here. Fresh tires. Gets a caution at the right time. He could really play spoiler in today's race. So Al Jr. has got Dan Weldon between himself and Mario Andretti. Hoping Weldon will work with him a bit, but it's not expected as Weldon is right there trying to get his one and only lap back. So everything falling into place now. Halfway through the race, no cautions. A few different strategies on the board, but nothing too crazy. Get a good idea where everybody's running. In a moment, we'll take a look at maybe the best movers of the race. Quickest lap still belongs to this guy, though, the 003, Alexander Jr. No cars out of the race, so that's good to see. Dan Weldon with the penalties, but will be able to be taken care of at the appropriate time. So let's take a look at the leaderboard and see where drivers have started and where they're currently running. Top three all holding where they began this race. First, second, third, Mario Andretti, Alexander Jr., Alex Palou. McLaughlin up 4 spots from 8th, so that's good for him. Zanardi up 14. That strategy's really paying off. Same for Rick Mears. Danny Sullivan, 19 spots for Colton Herta. So yeah, that's I think where we're seeing it. Alex Zanardi and maybe Colton Herta because he's gained more positions. Scott Dixon started 4th. He's back to 9th. Bobby Rahal started 5th, back to 11th. Michael Andretti 10th, back to 15th. Jimmy Vasser started 11th, back to 23rd. Greg Ray, not a good day, 12th to 26th. Ari Leindyke started 15th. He's back now in 34th. Robbie Horton started 39th. He's running 39th. Granted, he did have damage. So here we are, back up front. It's Mario. Al Jr. Here comes Alex Palou. "35 laps remain here at Barcelona. Catalunya. And Newgarden going up the inside there on Emerson Fittipaldi. Looks like Robert Wickens going to pit lane. AJ Foyt, a little busy. He's got Greg Moore behind him. Track time cooling down a bit. Gap up front still 2.5 seconds, but they have increased the lead over third. Alex Palou was quicker that lap than Al Jr., but overall just losing time. But now Al Jr. is going to have to deal with Robert Wickens out of pit lane. It's like Mario is just barely able to avoid that. Back up front here with Andretti. Let's take a look. Just smooth out here. 131.1 that last time by. There you see Allenser Jr. Alex Palou running third, then Scott McLaughlin with AJ Foyt and Greg Moore as fourth, fifth, and sixth. Probably the closest battle on track that is meaningful as well in regards to top 10 here. Opposed to maybe a race back for 30th.
Weather has changed, Victor. Track temperature dropped off 6 degrees to 127 in the last 1 hour.
Actually, let's go a little further back. I think I see pretty good bow here. There's Alexander Rossi trying to hold off Dario Franchitti, Elio Castroneves. Got a little power, and Juan Montoya up ahead. See, Newgarden's lost a little bit of time to Will Power. They were running nose to tail, and Newgarden still has quite a few more cars to clear, so I'm really liking the seat out of this 12 car, and potentially to gain a lot more spots here once a few other drivers pit. Hey, he might end up with a top 10 by the time this race is over with. Colton Herta down pit lane. Side by side for 12th now. That's Michael Andretti and Tony Stewart. Two very aggressive drivers giving each other the space they need to operate, though. And this is last year's pole sitter, Pato O'Ward, and last year's winner right behind him in Will Power. See, Franchitti got by Rossi in the background. Trying to catch back up to Will Power. As Power is stalled out behind O'Ward on older tires. Oh, look at that. Tony Stewart, Zanardi, they're in. Rossi's in trouble on these tires. He might be coming in this lap. Castroneves looking left and right. Look at the shark. You can smell blood in the water. Tracy Foyt closing up on McLaughlin. There's Polo. Mario Andretti in quite a bit of traffic at the moment with Robbie Gordon and Robert Wickens. It's been a good few weeks to be named Scott, not a good few weeks to be named Rob. Car's really flying up that hill. Not much of ground being made up, at least yet. And once Andretti finds a way by, and it's, you know, Unser's got to do the same thing. There he goes. So we're at 30 laps to go now, 29 at the line. Mario been in control since the very beginning. A lot of rubber built up through those first few corners, and see it again here through these quicker turns that permit mainly one line to go through. Mario pulling away, 132.1 to a 133.5. Nigel Mansell in danger of going a lap down. He's 6 seconds up. Waiting on that final, or not final stop, but waiting on that next stop for Mario Andretti. And then from there, it'll be one more stop, and then when do you decide to make it? Because it'll be in the fuel window after basically like 5 or so laps. Hinchcliffe and Wickens, they're running pretty close. Gene Foyt still trying to find a way by Scott McLaughlin. Track is warming back up slightly. We do have quite a few drivers, particularly in the top 10, that have yet to use the hard compound. And when they do, you know, we're going to see drivers like Alexander Rossi, I think, really just plow through the field. Maybe saving it for that last burst if they make it to lap 60, use it for the last 10 laps. See AJ Foy looking everywhere he can to try to get by McLaughlin, but just not easy to make a pass here. Car's just so equal. Pulling a bit away from Greg Moore. Maybe not that lap, but I think overall we're seeing that gap grow. Be 25 to go at the line. This race going by quick. No cautions. Looked like maybe Foyt was going to get close enough to have a run down the front stretch, but McLaughlin opened it up in these final few corners. And back up front, we got 5-second gaps separating first, second, and third. So 10 seconds first to third. Just not making any ground on the number 2, or sorry, the number 3. Not a good lap there for AJ Foyt. Being behind McLaughlin, not necessarily a bad thing, but that time was very slow, even being that close behind. There goes McLaughlin, Pillow, Mario, all 3 down pit lane. So your new leader, AJ Foyt, followed by Greg Moore, Sebastian Bourdais, Scott Dixon. No drivers out of this race. We had contact on lap 1, which almost resulted in an incident. Oh. Sounded like really overshot the corner there. I'm gonna go back and take a look here at Greg Moore. Very sideways, yeah. Continuing to stay out. Bourdais, he pits. Let's take a look where Mario's at. Final corner. He's 5th. Out of the pits. It's unbelievable. There's Al Jr. He's fresh out of the pits. Michael Andretti. Look at that. Will Power in 8th now. He does have the advantage of some cars pitting, but that's unexpected. So AJ pulling away from Greg Moore a bit. I think we'll see him down pit lane. Maybe take the hard compound here if you're AJ Foyt. Do what the leader's not doing. Comes Dixon, top 3 all pit. Brings Mario around in 4th. Who was pit 2 laps ago, will take the lead back. Just so what kind of lap he has here. 129.293. There's Al Jr. Cleared traffic. 4 seconds the gap. There's Polo. Maintained his 9-second or so gap, and then McLaughlin stays in front of AJ Foyt. He's got to be thinking, oh my God, how did that happen? Bourdais trying to chase down Greg Moore. You see Scott Dixon, Rick Mears, and even Alex Zanardi still back here. Yep, rounding out the top 10. And so Zanardi has fallen back a little bit in this order. Not sure what happened, but he was closer up here. AJ Foyt. Greg Moore just out of pit lane. It's got the 118 of Sebastian Bourdais all in his mirrors. On to lap 50 of 70, be 20 to go next time by. see Greg Morris starting to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Bourdais as his tires are coming up to speed, and this will be his fastest lap of the run. Maybe take another 3 laps or so before Bourdais can mount another charge at the Players Limited 99. Baby Blue. Not sure what chassis they ran. I can't remember. It's a Mercedes. This battle is close as McLaughlin still getting his... Oh no, sorry, AJ Foyt getting his tires up to temperature. And that's a pretty good run, honestly, at McLaughlin down this front straightaway with 20 laps remaining now. Huge momentum. He might be on push to pass as well. I think Foyt's got a good shot here to get by McLaughlin in the next few turns. The speed of that 14 car around the corner. Off into the extra rubber a bit. Gets a good run into this tight left-hander. Make a move into that kink. Too far back. Looks like he'll have a good shot here down the backstretch. Yeah, he's very close to McLaughlin. Once he gets by, he should be able to focus forward on Polo. If he can get by, it's not a done deal by any means, because McLaughlin's going to try to fight every ounce he's got. Holds the position for now. It's inevitable, I think. I don't know if I've seen anyone this close to another car really all day. Shows the speed that Foyt has found. He's trying to make the pass here on the outside of the 3. He's gonna get it done. Up to 4th for AJ Foyt. Up ahead, he's still got Robbie Gordon. Then can look ahead at Alex Palou. Al Jr. is closing the gap a bit on Mario Andretti up front. Under 3 seconds, so definitely has come down. We're under 20 to go. Across the line for Mario Andretti, 131.225. Al Jr. quicker, a 130.905, so 3/10 up that time by. Inch by inch. Stopped on the same lap every single pit cycle so far. Thought Unser Jr. had a good opportunity in those first 5 laps of this race to maybe make a move on Andretti, and maybe he was thinking we'd have some cautions and he'd have more opportunities later on, but has not been the case. He's been close, but just hasn't been able to get back to a passing position. Here's AJ Foyt. It's got by Robbie Gordon. And now even Greg Moore has caught up to McLaughlin, and he's looking to get to the top 5. Well, well. These guys that pit a little later is working out for them as less cars in the way. The passes become a little bit easier. Defensive line that McLaughlin's taking there to turn 1. See Foyt looking really quick here. Nearly a second quicker than Alex Palou. He's got his mirrors full of Robert Wickens, just made the pass on him. AJ Foyt well and clear now of Robbie Gordon. I think Palou's got to start thinking about that 14 car. And if you're thinking about pit stops, I think that window opens on this lap. Make it to the end from here. And it might not be a bad idea to pit early. Big battle going on down here between Greg Moore, Scott McLaughlin. They got Robbie Gordon to get by. Scott Dixon appears to be closing up on Bourdais. Is this enough for McLaughlin to get by? It looks like it is. Greg Moore is going to follow. Nicely done by Robbie Gordon. So now McLaughlin and Greg Moore settle this one-on-one. The final corner, Mario Andretti. 15 laps remain. He puts in a 131.5. Al Jr. responds with the 131.3. But the gap remains pretty much the same, about 3 seconds. Now Paul Tracy exiting the pits. Right in between these two. He's gonna have fresh tires and be able to probably catch up and pass Mario here in a couple laps. But not what Alonso Jr. wants to see is another car in front of him, kind of impeding his progress to get to Mario. And definitely, I think, causing a bit of a problem at this point. See if Al can get by down the back stretch. But Trace's tires might be up to speed by this point. I think Al decided the best of it to stay behind. Not waste any time trying to fight with Tracy, knowing he will be quicker once they get around this next lap. There goes Mario. And getting reports of a winglet on track, a piece of debris down through a shallow portion of the track. So right around here, being reports of debris on the track. And Mario gets through. And the caution is out on lap 57 of 70 here at Barcelona. The first caution of the race. Game changer here. Now, a lot of cars are going to have to take the hard compound and may have to finish the race rather than taking it only for 5-10 laps. It's going to be for almost a full run. So, total change. So everybody back on the lead lap. Anyone in the top 10 gets waved around here in the IndyCar Legends Racing Series. Robbie Gordon's race has been somewhat saved, you could say. Taking a look at the leader. Mario Andretti in front of Al Jr. That's the way it's been all day. Alex Palou running third, keeping these two in check. Time is running out. AJ Foyt looking pretty quick here recently. And now, final pit stops. Imagine everybody will be down pit road. Sets up the mad sprint to the finish, which has been more of a casual drive all day, is going to turn into just a hectic finish to this race. Probably saw it just playing out, no cautions. The debris could not be denied and needed to be addressed. This will now turn into... Okay, a lot of cars not pitting. Very interesting. Rick Mears. It's like Pato O'Ward. Oh my. I do not understand how guys like Mario and Al Jr. did not pit. Oh, almost contact there. So yeah, Rick Mears, he's first off. Pato O'Ward, Sam Hornish Jr., Juan Montoya, Emerson Fittipaldi, James Hinchcliffe, Takuma Sato, Buddy Lazier. Can't really get back in focus. Got Dan Weldon out of gas, I'm thinking. Yeah, he's got to be out of gas. Robert Wickens, Robbie Gordon. And see what happens here. Robbie Gordon should be able to just get by, but he toes back. Oh boy. And now, how far back are these guys? Okay. 30th. Oh man. They're going to stick to their plan here and just use those hard compound tires as little as possible. It's that big of a deal, I guess. And now, did any of those cars take hard compound tires? Buddy Lazier did. No. So they might even still have to come in. Huh. Well, we'll see. We're gonna go ahead and get back to green flag racing this time by. Track is cleared. Be 11 laps to go. I don't think we've had any contact out here on the track, and just been a very clean race. Everyone's still running on the lead lap. And it's about to go down here for the win of the race. Here in the Barcelona Grand Prix, we're going to crown also the European champion before we end this stream here today, so stay tuned for after the race. We'll tally those points up and make sure we get the winner. Right now it's Haviland versus Valvoline.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag's back out. Dan Weldon exiting pit lane right in front of the leaders. Very exciting moment here for him. He needs to get moving.
Weldon got a black flag.
Just a drive-through for Weldon, so he's not holding up the field. Defensive line for Mario as Al Jr. goes the normal racing line. Going to get a good exit here. See Weldon dart off for pit lane. Get out of the leader's way. And here we are, front stretch. Took the top 10, 15 cars all in a row. Al Jr. hot in pursuit of the number one machine. Closest he's been since the first 5 laps of this race. Going wide. He's got a good line. Oh, I thought he was going to make a pass there. Bobby Rahal and Scott Dixon side by side further back. 10 laps to go. Gonna have to make a stop. Cannot make it to the finish. And the gap to 30th. You know, that's where those guys that already pit are. It's over 10 seconds back, but I don't think it's far enough. For a pit delta, it's probably like 25 seconds. Alexander Jr. doing everything he can. Just amazed that nobody decided to make the call to really pit there during that last yellow. Greg Moore continues in 6th place. That's where he's been for most of the day. See Pelot battling with AJ Foyt. Getting intense there. And down the hill again we go. Pulling away now. Mario at a 3/10 of a second lap, or 3/10 quicker on that last lap. The gap back to 30th. I see Nigel Mansell and Rick Mears are at 12.5 seconds. Continuing to stay out on track. Gotta wonder when they're gonna pit. Maybe next time by. They're able to afford a bit of fuel saving during the caution, but I don't know if they could stretch it further than this. Could we see an upset here? I'm thinking back to who pit and who's used the hard compound. I know Buddy Lazier is good. I think he's the only one under that last caution that took the hard compound, but there's others that may have started the race on them, like Rick Mears, Nigel Mansell. Pato O'Ward, I think he started on hard compound. So he could be in a good spot. But here we go. Leaders coming by one more time, but I think this has got to be it. The gap really close now for Al Jr. Car staying out, and that's AJ Foyt. Looks like Greg Moore, Bourdais, Dixon. Interesting. See how far they can go. Hopefully they don't run out of gas. Off pit lane. Hard compound is on. Both Mario, Al Jr., Pelot, McLaughlin. It's like Danny Sullivan. has yet to pit and get the hard compounds. I think almost everyone in this front group. This might get them by Mario and Al Jr. by staying out this extra lap. And now Greg Moore and AJ Foyt stay out again. Incredible how far these guys are stretching the fuel. So there's Rick Mears, Pato O'Ward. There's Mario. Wow. See the final Mears. So here's Rick Mears. I think Rossi's used the hard compound. Colton Herta? Zanardi has. Look at that. Ah, I think Zanardi's in the catbird seat. Interesting. Try to get back to the leaders here. AJ Foyt, does he stay out again? 5 to go at the line. Nope, coming in this time. I think we'll see everybody. There it is. Zanardi. Oh, wow. Zanardi, Herta, Rossi. I'm pretty sure their obligations have been fulfilled. This is where the race is. Pato O'Ward didn't have enough to get to the front. I think Rick Mears also just mired a little further back than he thought. And now Alex Zanardi, who we've talked about since the beginning of this race, how fast he was coming through the field. Looks like he's going to come away with this one. The hard compound at the start of the race working again. So when you're watching this as a driver crew chief, you just got to know. All right, week after week on the road courses, we're seeing guys come from the back and get this win. Zanardi is about to pull off a big win. Four laps to go. Colton Herta second in points again with an incredible run. Let's see now. Greg Moore is back in 20th. Bourdais 21st. Huge flip. Interesting to see if Rossi can get by Herta. Also got Tony Stewart there. He's very aggressive. Every point very precious here in the IndyCar Legends Racing Series. 70 for first, 55 for second, 45 for third, 40 for fourth, and then 1 point down from there on, 39, 38, 37, so forth. So those first 3 positions paying big time points. Will Power, all the ground he made up through the race, running 27th now. He's just got to be dejected. Ari Leindyke started up front. Not at all what he was hoping for. DeFerrin was having a decent run. Newgarden. And now Zanardi pulling away by a half a second a lap. Let's check this out here. Nigel Mansell looks like he's going to get a top 10. Kanan looking for a top 10, trying to hold off Juan Montoya. So on the inside, almost gets there. Morris Jr. slams the door. Not a prime passing spot, but he had to take what was given. Montoya does not capitalize, though. This will be a good finish for Rick Mears. He needs his top 5.
Weather
2
alert
laps to
now.
go.
Track temp dropped to 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the last 50 minutes.
Bit of a cloud cover going on. Another 2/10 that lap. And what this does for the European Championship, I'm interested. Let's see if we could just take a quick look. And I'm seeing Colton Herta. Looks like he may be because Scott Dixon's in 22nd. Yeah, Colton Herta. He's looking like the European champion at the moment. Lap 69. Nicely done by Herta to be in this position, consistent throughout the year, and consistency is going to potentially win him this European swing, which is also what won this guy the championship last year, Alexander Rossi. So Herta following in those footsteps, just laced together a couple wins, and this could be his season. But this is this man's race. Final lap, white flag in the air for Alex Zanardi here at Barcelona. Another foreign driver winning here overseas. Only fitting. Can't get the Italian Grand Prix, so might as well win the Spanish Grand Prix. Scott McLaughlin, Scott Dixon, they won the first 2 rounds of this 3-race mid-season championship. Zanardi will collect the 3rd, and Colton Herta will be your European title winner. But around the final 2 quarters, here he is, Alex Zanardi, your winner here at Barcelona. Checker flag in the air. Colton Herta, European champion. Top 3, there's Alexander Rossi. Huge win for Alex Zanardi. believe his first on the season. We'll take a quick look. Well, first win for Zanardi on the year. Franchitti won at New Hampshire. So another win for target Chip Ganassi. Just great job by this team. And major shout out to the Gamebridge group putting together the European Championship. Incredible feat, as Americans have won it now back-to-back years. See if that changes next year. Definitely bring this back year to year for this series. It's fun watching these guys on these F1 style tracks. And the overseas venture does not discontinue here. We head to Japan. So Motegi is next on the agenda, with Suzuka after that, followed by Phillip Island. From there, we're back to the States with Homestead and then the Daytona Road Course with our second of 3 Triple Crown races. Double points on the line. 2-hour time race there at Daytona. Let's take a quick look at the race again. Make sure we didn't miss any incidents throughout. Good view of the start here. Let's take a look. Took it nice and easy. Whoa, what a move. Bit of contact with Paul Tracy and Nigel Mansell. Let's take another look here. Contact with Colton Herta too. All the way to lap 62. Oh, Hinchcliffe goes around. That's it. Very, very clean race. Again, your winner today, Alex Zanardi. And your European Championship winner, Colton Herta. Driver of the day. I think we got to go with Colton Herta. Yep. Yeah, Colton Herta was driver of the day at Red Bull Ring as well, so a great run for him in this European swing. We'll head to Motegi at the Oval next, and then Suzuka on the Indy circuit. Small little road course there. And Phillip Island and back to the United States with Homestead and then Daytona on the road course. Thank you everyone for joining us here today. A great race. Exciting finish. Unexpected. Mario Andretti finishing 16th after having to pit late. See Greg Moore, your points leader, back in 19th. Bourdais finished 21st. Everybody, though, finishing today's race. But again, thank you for tuning in, and we will be back this weekend with stock cars at Iowa. So tune in for that, the Stock Car Championship Series at Iowa. And we will see you next time.